Bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum. Oh, welcome to Thursday morning. It is Thursday morning, right? Yeah, welcome to Thursday morning.
It's not
And
Friday
another
yet.
edition of the
Can
Blue
it be?
Review with Lasers, presented by LAX.
Lasers.
I'm Marcus Grant with Greg Bergman and Parker Bell. And, well, we had an off day. How did we enjoy the off day yesterday, Greg?
It was odd. It was one of those things, like, I want them to play every single night right now because it's so much fun to watch, but also, like, kind of nice to not have something on the TV that I was like stressing over every single pitch. So that's good.
Yeah, we get the stress back today.
Yes,
Parker, you will be there tonight, correct?
Yes. So I took advantage of this off day. I made sure to sleep at, I don't even know, like 8.
Oh, good for you.
Wow, good for you.
Because it's about to ramp up, Marcus. Yeah, we got the 3:08 game today, of course. So I'll be there nice and early.
You'll be there.
I'm going to be getting content for us. I'll get content for the Blue Review, but then I'll also be there at Friday. And then we got USC Notre Dame and maybe TBD, if we have to, another Dodger game. So it ramped up. I had to get to bed early.
Yeah, no, I understand. Makes perfect sense. Game 3 of the NLCS is this afternoon, 3:08 first pitch time from Dodger Stadium. Tyler Glasnow has been announced. The Brewers, at least as of my checking just now, still have not announced who is going to start or open the game for them. I know, Greg, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, that maybe it'd be Quintana, but no real thoughts to that. Any feeling on that right now?
Yeah, the last that I saw, Pat Murphy said it was last night. Pat Murphy said that it was something along the lines of, we're still calibrating that or something like that. I don't know, some weird thing where he's like, yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. That's always good. That's what you want to go into a game 3 of the NLCS. Be like, yeah, we're still trying to figure out who our game 3 starter is, or we're trying to still construct what that is. So that sounds, when you say construct or whatever word that he used, what you assume an opener. So
yeah,
probably a lefty opener for as long as it can go.
I mean, that is sort of playing with fire. And I guess we'll get into that in just a second, because at first I should probably give a shout out to our friends at LAX, as we always do.
Under construction is what it was. Under construction.
Construction.
Great.
Okay. I guess that's kind of a good lead into LAX, because they are transforming the travel experience. They're saving guest time. They are doing construction, nearly completed, on the People Mover train. Hopefully up and running early next year. For more information, you go to flylax.com/transforminglax. Under construction is an interesting choice of words, especially, Parker, because their bullpen has already been incredibly taxed in the first 2 games of the series. I'd even go so far as to go back to game 5 against the Cubs, when they had to use a whole lot of arms. So they've used Abner Uribe, for instance, in each of their last 3 games. It feels like using an opener and then having a bulk guy and potentially more bullpen arms feels like that's playing with fire tonight.
Every time I see that TBD, or just like who's going to be pitching, when I look up the stats, I always think, who's that Pokemon? And at this point, I feel for Milwaukee, because it doesn't matter. I know that I did the too early playing with the baseball gods.
Yeah,
sweep.
be careful.
The thing is, 96 to 93 teams, I think it is, have taken a 2-0 lead, and only 79 of them have advanced. And if the Phillies, who everyone agreed had the overall better team, couldn't do it against the Dodgers, then the try-hard Milwaukee Brewers, I don't believe, are going to advance against the Dodgers. And I say try-hard as in, this is a feisty team. They fight hard. We've said it at the beginning of the Blue Review. This is a team that beats you by death of 1,000 cuts. They just don't have it this series. And again, it's unfortunate, because the Brewers are a fun team to watch, but this Dodgers team is so hot right now. If you're going TBD versus Tyler Glasnow versus Shohei Ohtani versus the 2 who literally had some of the best postseason performances of all time in Blake Snell and Yamamoto, it's just not a recipe for anything good.
And to answer your question, it's Blastoise. It's always Blastoise.
Always.
It's always. The one thing I have seen
that all missed me. That whole era missed me somehow. But
here's the thing. I was probably slightly too old for it, but I also went through a period of fun employment where I just happened to catch it in the afternoons because I was home without much to do. Anyway,
I was a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I don't know if anyone in the chat is also
looking at trying to dig deeper into what Pat Murphy has said. The one thing I did look into that I found is that he says everybody is available except for Freddie Peralta, which, I mean, obviously that makes sense. Peralta going fairly deep into the game the other day. He probably is not available. But Pat Murphy already sort of going with a Johnny Holstaff approach, essentially, in game 3, which I don't know, Greg, that smells of desperation. That smells of we have to win this game to have any, and I guess that's true, to have any chance in this series. But man, it feels like unloading the clip in game 3, even if you win it, pretty much signals the end to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great look for them. If you think like when they, especially with how much they've used their pen already, we've talked about it a bunch, but they used it that Saturday against the Cubs when they had to run through a lot of guys. Then they ran through a lot of guys in game 1, and game 2 they ran through a lot of dudes. So it's a pretty tax spin. We've seen pretty much everybody in there besides Mizorowski. So I mean, I don't want to say desperation, and it also, like, this is still baseball. Weird things happen all the time. Things just change. I know the idea when you win 2 on the road, you start feeling really, really good because you're like, oh, now you're coming home. That's gonna be 2 in a row. Hey, we're gonna sweep. Of course, that's what's gonna happen. They were still the best team in baseball. They were still it's still hard to beat teams 3-4 times in a row. So I'm not ready to say that this is going to be a sweep where it's desperation, just because baseball's weird and it happens all the time. I actually don't feel great about this game. I don't think Glasnow's bad in this game. I just don't feel like it's a win, and I don't like saying that on the Blue Review, but I got to be honest. I woke up not feeling great about it. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they win and then they sweep, and I'm just a complete jackass after talking about it this way. But if that's the way that it feels at the moment, I would love to be 100% wrong. Is
your not great feeling about the game, or is it the tacos that may have
maybe
last night?
I mean, I don't think anything can feel good after those tacos from last night. The tacos felt great. Eating the tacos.
It's the aftermath.
It's the aftermath is a complete disaster.
Well, Parker, I mean, let's talk about Tyler Glasnow, right? Because he was the guy. I won't say he was he's not gonna say he's the weak link. I mean, this is a guy that pretty much every other team in baseball would love to have going for them in a playoff game. But between he, Yamamoto, Snell, and Ohtani, he was the guy that we figured, okay, he might be number 4 of 4 potentially. And he went out and absolutely shoved against the Phillies. Your feelings that maybe he can duplicate a performance like that tonight?
Oh, I wholeheartedly believe that he's as the same as every other Dodgers starting pitcher right now, hitting his stride at the right time. I think if you're going to look at what he did last the DS, where he went 6 innings pitched and only allowed 2 hits and the 8 Ks, I think it was just, it's one of those things, a vintage Tyler Glasnow performance. When it comes to big games, they just happen to pick the right pitchers. Dodgers picked big game pitchers. Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto, and even Shohei all step up in the big moments. And this is one of those where he realizes, hey, if I take today, then at that point, there's absolutely no way Milwaukee comes back. Of course, again, knock on wood, baseball is baseball. But
you can say what you want. You can sweep it away if you want to.
Exactly.
My side.
Exactly. Glasnow, I'm super confident in his performance today. And it's just a matter of, okay, are we going to get him to 7? I think 7 is the number, 7 innings, because obviously he started to feel some cramps that last outing around that 6th inning. So, or even around the 5th. So if you get him to 7, it's another dominating starting performance. And even if the offense isn't there as much, I still think that Glasnow is going to be okay, even if it's like a 1-run game and then you go into a Sheehan per se.
Yeah, see, that's the other question. I'll get to that in a sec. I have this feeling, though, that there's right now kind of an unspoken competition. Maybe it's even spoken. I don't know. A competition amongst the starters to see who can go out there and put up the best performance, right? I mean, Blake Snell goes out there and gives you 8 innings of one-hit baseball, looks absolutely phenomenal. It's like one of the greatest pitching performances in Dodger franchise postseason history. And then the next night, Yamamoto says, "I bet." It goes
Hold my
out there.
beer.
The chat said, "Hold my sake."
Hold my sake. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just goes out there and deals. So, like, I don't know what Glasnow has to do if he has to, throw a complete game one-hit shutout. Like, I don't know how he tops what Yamamoto did in game 2, but it does feel like these guys are like, it's a combination of one wanting to sort of compete, obviously, against the other team, compete amongst themselves. Greg, I also think there's still, an element of we got to help our bullpen. We got to save these bullpen arms as much as possible, which does sort of beg the next question. If, let's say Glasnow, is human and gives you only 7 innings, for instance, is Sheehan the next guy up in that situation?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got to be Sheehan in that situation. It should be Sheehan to Roki. And I'd really even go Sheehan as long as possible. So, like, let's say he goes 7 to what you're saying. I think he'll probably go 6. If he goes 7, then if Sheehan rolls through 8, I would roll Sheehan out for 9 too. I wouldn't even bring out Roki if you don't have to in this situation. What we saw from Roki last time was where, like, I think there was a lot of mitigating factors. The 3 innings on Thursday, 3 days rest, kind of needed a little bit more. I still trust in the guy. Just the extra rest for Roki would be great. So if Sheehan's rolling, let him roll. But I think I don't expect to see a lot of Trinan unless it's a 1-out type situation like it was before. Maybe Vezia, maybe Banda, but all these guys are also so very
super rested.
And I wonder, and I talked about it with Travis yesterday on the first pitch, that, like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because it can go both ways. And I wonder what you guys think. Is it better for them to be rested for a week and a half, or is it better for them to, like, because facing major league hitting in the playoffs is totally different than throwing a simulated game to, like, a wall or to just random hitters from your AAA system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll say this, and I know it's going to sound like a cop-out. I think it sort of depends on the guy, right? I think for some guys, having that rest is beneficial, is crucial. I think for some guys, you do need them to be throwing on a regular schedule. Like, I would say, I don't know, for Blake Trinan, I feel like maybe giving him some time off might be the best sort of thing. I think for an Alex Vesia, who sort of lives on emotion, right? Who, he comes in the game like he just mainlined a 12-pack of Celsius.
I think it's Red Bull, but yeah.
Probably. Either way, like, he just, I think, like, he's a guy who sort of needs to kind of pitch on a regular basis. So, I mean, I think it's a case-by-case basis. I do think, though, Parker, that one of the advantages is that the Brewers haven't seen really any of these guys. I mean, they saw Sasaki, they saw Trinan, but they haven't seen any of the Dodger bullpen since July. I mean, so for them, I mean, I know they have scouting reports, but it's also like for them, hey, man, we got to adjust to these guys, and we might not have a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, so 2 things. I think so. Sheehan specifically, you have the advantage as to where he's just feeling better as well. Not just the rest, but he's feeling much better and healthier than he was at that time when they last faced the Brewers. I'd have to double check if he was even pitching in that series. I mean, we could find that out. But the second thing is advantage Dodgers still, because I will take rest over overuse anytime. And the Brewers, to get to this point in October, have had to exhaust their bullpen, who going into this series, everybody said was the better bullpen than the Dodgers. And yeah, that's true. They had to, I think it was Uribe, they had to enter in a game 2 6th inning emergency situation, which at that point he might as well have just been Tanner Scott, and that's one of their best relievers. It's a very unfortunate thing for the Brewers because, I mean, you got Pat Murphy saying they're more depleted than the Dodgers are. Everything just feels relatively defeatist and desperate. It's tough to hear that if you're a Milwaukee fan, but that's just the truth at this point. Like, the Dodgers are healthier. The Dodgers starting pitching are flexing on everybody in the world. And here we are.
Can I just talk about Pat Murphy for a second? You brought
Sure.
him up. I'm just getting really tired of what he's doing. It's day in and day out. Oh, the big boys over there, they don't even know our names. They don't even know who Jackson Churio is. Like all this little like small town. It's all right. We're America's team. We play the game the right way, and they have all this money and we have nothing. Like it's just a stupid narrative. And like I get why he's doing it, trying to play the underdog. Bro, you had 97 wins this season. You were the best team in baseball. You play the right way and you scored the second most runs. I'm sorry that this team is just so much better than yours, and you only put up 4 hits in 2 games. Like that's just stop your stupid narrative. Just play the game. I get that this is just a nonsense thing that I think anybody outside of Milwaukee is like, yeah, man. Kind of don't feel like you're real confident with what you're saying here. If you lose, you're like, well, hey, we lost, but they were the big boys. They were Goliath, and David couldn't take down Goliath this time. Just stop. So
I do wonder, is that a narrative that he brought to light because it's the Dodgers? Like, let's just say, the NLDS had gone the other way, right? If it was the Phillies, would he still be? I mean, I know the Phillies spend a ton of money, maybe not as much as the Dodgers. They've got a bunch of big time stars, right? Like, would he be saying this if it was, a lineup with Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper and, Trey Turner and, if they had to deal with Sanchez and Suarez and Lazar, like, would that still be his approach? Or is this because the Dodgers right now are kind of an easy punching bag for everybody across Major League Baseball, right? Because, you spend $1 billion on 2 guys, in an offseason, you bring in big names. It does make it feel like it's an easy sort of talking point for a lot of teams. I don't know.
Yeah, nah, it's just dumb.
By the way, you were talking about Emmett Sheehan, Parker. He did face the Brewers earlier this year, just after the All-Star break. It wasn't great.
It was not great. I saw him too. Like, ooh,
he went 3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, gave up a home run. That was also at that point that the Dodgers just could not figure life out.
Yeah, that was a hell of a stretch for the Dodgers. To our point, it's a new Sheehan.
He gave up the cycle. He gave up a single, double, triple home run.
Hooray.
Yeah. Not great.
Not great, Bob. So yeah, that was because that was they'd lost the 8 in a row before the All-Star break, or just before the All-Star break. Then they won 2 against San Francisco. They came out of the break and then lost like 4 of 5 or something like that. So it was not a great time for the Dodgers at that point. Let's get to the offense a little bit, because while we're talking about the pitching, which has been great, the offense has been good. I think they've left some meat on the bone, and some of that, I think, Greg, comes at the top of the order, where Shohei still hasn't really found his swing. But Dave Roberts said, and I tend to agree, that, yeah, he's striking out, he's swinging and missing, but it looks like he's more, I don't say locked in, but he's having better at bats in this series than he did against the Phillies. So it just kind of feels like a matter of time before, the real Shohei erupts again.
Yeah, I mean, Shohei is always just a matter of time, right? Like, if we're looking at this, what he's doing right now over a 2-week span in June and July, we'd be like, he's fine. He's going to figure it out. It's just because of the shortness of the playoffs and every at bat means so much. But he goes through things like this. This is not anything that's really that far out of norm. I mean, maybe not this many strikeouts in this short amount of time. But yeah, he's going to break out at some point. And even Parker and I at Cause, and we were looking at it, like saw like, okay, you're taking more walks, you're taking more pitches, you're getting better swings on it. The game was a game. Which game did I go to with Mason? That would have been Game 3 versus the Phillies. Yeah, and he hit a ball that was right up against the wall in left field. So he's right there. It's just not really kind of getting there. And for the first time in the 2 years that he's been a Dodger, he was on the field taking batting practice yesterday, which he's never ever done before, which is weird. So it's kind of him thinking to himself, it sounds like, I need to see this field again and see what this looks like. And apparently he was hitting just absolute bombs to Schwarber territory from that. So hopefully that translate into the game. But yeah, I think Shohei will always be, I always trust in Shohei. He's your GOAT, right, Parker?
Oh, yes. Yes. He's maybe one of the main reasons why this hat is on my head. But the thing is, Ohtani, it was
It
rough.
wasn't the blue review.
always the blue review. I just Shohei's gonna figure it out. I mean, oh god, if you were watching his BP, some people were posting he hit one out of the stadium.
Yeah,
you can always trust Ohtani, and like you said, excuse me, game 1 he drew the 3 walks, of course, 2 intentionally, but he was just having a few better at bats, and then in the game 2 went back to the 3 Ks, but it's still a matter of some of those. It just felt like he went up to the plate like, I'm not really gonna do anything here, and just swung with his little booty out. He's at home. It's time. Marcus, I know that he was your series pick to do something, and it's going to happen tonight because he never takes BP, literally never. And I think the fact that he's out there letting everybody know I'm locked in and I'm going to figure out this swing is what's important. And he did go out of his way to even mention it's not the pitching. It's just, he's just been off. He's a bulk hitter, right, Marcus?
He's a Costco hitter, man. Everything happens in bulk for sure. I'm just sitting here fantasizing about what it would be like to hit a baseball out of Dodger Stadium. Like,
God, how wonderful that
to have that skill set in your bag that you can hit a baseball that far.
There's a few things in life that I'd always want to do. Like hitting a baseball out of Dodger Stadium would be a dream come true. Dunking a basketball at my 5'10" Jewish height does not get me up there. I can't do that. Dunking a basketball would be really cool. And surfing a tube, a wave, that would be one. Like those 3 things are like the things that are bucket list. If I could ever do that, I'd be like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know, being able, like, once you're being able to be on a major league field, like I guess a spring training type field, but standing at the center field wall once, I looked back at home plate, the first thing I thought was, this is a really long way to hit a baseball. Like that was the first thing that crossed my mind. So then to hit one, not just over the wall, but like over the pavilion and on top of the roof is just, it's mind-boggling to me, as Will Ferrell might say. Just incredible.
I was about to say, did you say mind-boggling?
You said mind-boggling. It's like your thoughts get all bottled up, it's an amazing thing. So very much looking forward to hopefully Shohei getting things turned around, getting going. And I saw somebody in the chat, by the way, saying, Ron Mexico, I've literally had that dream, Marcus. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of us have probably had a dream kind of like that. I did see somebody in the chat though saying they think Andy Pages is gonna show up this weekend, and Greg, he's starting to swing it a little bit better. I mean, it was rough. The end of the regular season and the start of the postseason has been bad for him, but it does feel like, I mean, he had that big double down the line in game 2 that put them ahead. It feels like maybe Andy Pages is starting to wake up a little bit too.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I think he's another guy. I feel like he's going to come out of it too. I also see, even against the Reds and the Phillies, even though he was struggling against them, it always felt like he was just missing too. He was actually hitting long fly balls that just weren't getting that far out. So yes, his batting average is low. He was not getting on base, swinging at pitches he probably shouldn't be swinging at, but he's still young.
That's kind of the norm for him.
That's just the norm. So I could see a big game from Pages today. That double kind of really, he had a single, I think, the game before too. So I think this might be the set.
Honestly, that dribbler against the Phillies might have been the thing that got him going, Yep. It's weird to say, but it probably is. By the way, real quick, Brian Smith actually pointed out the thing that I meant to mention. Shohei's batting average in the playoffs might not be great, but teams are still scared to pitch to him, which I feel like that's a difference between him and, say, like Aaron Judge. As much as Aaron Judge has struggled in his career in the playoffs, last year in the World Series, the Dodgers really weren't terrified of pitching to him. They didn't pitch around him nearly as much as teams pitch around Shohei. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. Anyway,
when will teams learn? By the way, you're not making Mookie happy when you watch Shohei in front of him.
You just need the Michael Jordan. I took that personally. I mean, that's just put Mookie's face on it and just go on about your day. All right, so here we go. Game 3 this afternoon. Here we go. Game 3 this afternoon, 3:08 first pitch time. Either you can see it live at the stadium, you can see it live on the Turner Broadcasting System, or you can hear it live on 710 in case you are persuaded to do that. So be sure to check that out. Tyler Glasnow on the mound against Blastoise, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out when we get a little bit closer to the start. And then we'll be with you briefly post-game whenever it ends. A quick wrap-up of Game 3, and, of course, back with you tomorrow at 6:30 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Stick around. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming right at you after this. But that'll do it for us. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thanks to Anthony Jex, for getting us up and on this morning. Sexer Jex for getting us up and on this morning. Thanks to LAX, as always. For Parker Bell, for Greg Bergman, I'm Marcus Grant. It's been the Blue Review presented by LAX. We will see you tomorrow. Go Dodgers. Let's go.
See you.